Please subscribe to Blind Thoughts and press the bell icon so you never miss our next story. I still remember the scent of cinnamon and coffee drifting through the kitchen that morning, the soft hum of the dishwasher the only sound in the house. It was early May, the kind of morning where sunlight slides through curtains like warm honey and even the floorboards seem to stretch and wake. I had just set my favorite mug in the rack when my phone buzzed against the counter. Be ready at 6. Dress for the garden. That was all. No signature. No explanation. But I knew the sender almost immediately. Samuel, my 23-year-old stepson. Samuel wasn't a difficult kid. He was polite, responsible, quick with a wry joke. But after his father, Mark, and I married 5 years ago, the space between us felt untraveled. We shared dinners and family holidays, yet our conversations stayed at the surface. Part of it was timing. He left for college a year after Mark and I said our vows, and life became a string of quick visits. Thanksgiving breaks, the occasional long weekend. We exchanged texts about birthdays or exam results, but we'd never built that easy closeness I'd quietly hoped for. So a text from Samuel, especially one as cryptic as "dress for the garden," stirred a mix of curiosity and cautious excitement. All afternoon I wondered what "dress for the garden" meant. Casual. Fancy. Did I need hiking shoes or a sundress? I finally settled on a flowing green maxi dress and a light cardigan. Something comfortable but presentable, in case this garden was more event than errand. By the time the clock ticked toward 6, my heart beat with the same nervous flutter I'd felt before a first date. Ridiculous, I scolded myself. He's your stepson, not a mysterious suitor. At exactly 6, a knock echoed through the back door. When I opened it, Samuel stood there holding a wicker picnic basket, a sheepish grin tugging at his mouth. His dark hair was a little mussed, as though he'd run his hands through it on the drive over. "Hi, Laura," he said, using my name the way he always did, warm but careful, as if acknowledging that Mom was a title already spoken for by someone else. "Hi yourself," I replied, smiling. "Should I be worried? You're being awfully mysterious." He chuckled. "Just come with me. You'll see." We drove out of town in his old blue Jeep, windows down, evening air carrying the scent of lilacs. I wanted to ask 100 questions but held back, enjoying the soft guitar playlist humming from the speakers. We pulled up to the community garden on the outskirts of town, a place I loved but hadn't visited in months. As we walked down the gravel path, I gasped. Strings of tiny white lights glowed between the trees, casting the flower beds in a gentle silver shimmer. In the center of the garden, on a patch of soft grass, lay a large quilt. A picnic basket sat atop it alongside a small portable speaker. The faint melody of acoustic piano floated through the dusk. "You did this?" I asked, amazed. Samuel set down the basket and shrugged in that self-conscious way I remembered from his teenage years. "Well, with a little help from some friends who owed me a favor. Thought we could use a night to catch up. Dad's out of town and I know I haven't been around much." I couldn't speak for a moment. All the small distances of the past 5 years seemed to fold into this single glowing space. We settled onto the quilt. From the basket he unpacked carefully wrapped sandwiches, a thermos of homemade lemonade, and, my breath caught, a chocolate cake layered with raspberries. My favorite. "How did you?" "I asked Mark," he admitted. "He said you guard that recipe like a state secret, so I begged Aunt Carol to help me." I laughed, a sound that felt lighter than it had in weeks. "It's perfect." We ate while dusk deepened around us, trading stories about our week. I learned about his new job at a small design firm in the city, the tight deadlines, the thrill of seeing his sketches come to life. He asked about my volunteer work at the library, genuinely curious about the children's reading program I'd started. The conversation flowed easily, surprising both of us. There were no awkward silences, only the gentle chorus of crickets and the occasional laugh that echoed into the night. As the stars brightened, Samuel grew thoughtful. He toyed with the edge of the quilt before finally speaking. "I never said thank you," he began. "For everything. When Mom left, I was angry at everyone, even Dad. Then you came along and I didn't make it easy. But you never stopped checking in. You helped with college loans. You showed up for every exhibition even when I barely gave you notice. You're the reason I made it through some rough semesters. His voice caught, and he looked away toward the trees. I don't think I ever told you how much that meant. I felt a lump rise in my throat. Samuel, you don't have to thank me. You're family. I know, he said quietly. But I wanted you to hear it anyway. We stayed late, sharing stories we'd never told. How he nearly quit college after a brutal sophomore year. How I doubted myself the first months after marrying Mark. I confessed how lonely I sometimes felt when Mark traveled for work. Samuel admitted he kept a sketchbook everywhere he went, filled with ideas for a dream of opening his own studio someday. The night wrapped around us like a warm blanket. The lights overhead flickered softly in the breeze, and for the first time I sensed not just a bond of circumstance but the beginnings of a genuine friendship. On the drive home, the sky stretched wide and dark, stars scattered like silver dust. I looked at Samuel, his profile calm and steady in the dashboard glow. Something inside me shifted, a quiet certainty that our relationship had changed forever. I realized then what I wanted to give him. Not things or money, but everything that truly mattered. Support. A listening ear. The promise that he would never have to wonder whether I was in his corner. The following week I found myself texting him more. Little updates, shared photos of the garden, invitations to help me test a new cookie recipe. To my delight, he responded with the same warmth he'd shown that night. One Saturday morning he appeared at my door with a fresh bouquet of wildflowers. For the kitchen, he said simply. And just like that, small gestures turned into a new pattern of connection. Mark noticed too. You and Samuel seem closer lately, he said one evening as we washed dishes together. I smiled, remembering the soft glow of garden lights. We are. And it means the world to me. Months later, when autumn painted the trees gold, Samuel invited both Mark and me to his first solo art show. I watched him greet visitors with quiet confidence, his sketches vibrant with life. At one point he caught my eye across the room and smiled, a smile that said thank you without a single word. I understood then that family isn't measured by biology or perfect beginnings. It's built in moments of kindness, in nights of unexpected laughter, in simple, heartfelt gestures that rewrite the past. I decided long ago that evening in the garden. I would give him everything I could. My time, my encouragement, my unconditional love. Because sometimes the greatest gifts we can offer each other aren't wrapped in paper or tied with ribbon. They're the everyday choices to show up, to listen, to stay. And that night, my stepson gave me a memory that will light my heart for the rest of my life.